2 years ago, I had my very first tech internship. It was a fantastic experience, and I really liked my mentor and my team. They were all super helpful and kind, and I also learned a ton during this internship. Now, that being said, I could have been a lot more productive if I hadn't made these 5 mistakes that I'm going to share with you today. Now, if you're going to be interning soon, you're probably going to make some of these mistakes, but hopefully after watching this video, you'll lessen the effects of those mistakes or entirely avoid them. The very first mistake I made at my internship was trying to learn by consuming instead of by creating. If you're a software developer, your main job is to write code and create things. But it's really tempting, especially with stuff like version control or certain code frameworks, to just go and read and watch videos about a ton of them instead of actually coding them yourself. Some advice I got recently was to work on small side projects that basically implement those things. So for example, if you're trying to learn Git or you're trying to learn something about multi-threading, make a tiny side project where you can sandbox around and play with those things without worry about messing up prod or wasting other people's time trying to ship code that just doesn't work. So by making these smaller side projects, you can learn by creating instead of learning by consuming. That's not only going to stick it in your brain a lot better, but then you can build that muscle memory that you're going to need to remember these commands or remember how to use this stuff in the future. Now, this next tip and mistake I made might seem kind of contrary to the last one, and that is the feeling like I needed to know everything already and learn it all myself immediately. If you're at an internship, you're there to learn, and you're there to learn from the people who are at the company. You don't have to know everything, and you're not expected to. By carrying around this baggage that I needed to know more and I needed to be producing more and I wasn't doing enough, I was really just overly stressing myself out and being less of a good team member. Because I had this unchallenged assumption that I wasn't doing well enough, I wasn't learning enough, I wasn't producing enough, I was carrying around this huge bag of stress on my shoulders that wasn't making me a better worker, and that was honestly just ruining my day, making me think I wasn't doing enough. If you're at an internship, it's your job to learn. It's not only your job to create. It's basically an extended interview for you and the company to see if you can eventually grow into a very productive engineer. In other words, being an intern is an inexpensive opportunity for you and the company to further evaluate each other and see if it could be a good long-term fit. Now, the third very common mistake I made was thinking about work even when I wasn't working. If you never turn your brain off of work, you're never going to get a chance to rest. And in addition to that, there is the concept of shallow versus deep work. There's actually a whole book written about deep work that I read recently, and it really explains it well. But the basic idea is, if you're a knowledge worker or a creative worker, you want to increase the amount of deep work that you're doing on a daily basis and reduce the amount of shallow work. And by doing more deep work, you can actually spend less time getting the same amount done with a lot less stress. The fourth mistake I made at my internship was not having a concrete goal or communicating to my mentor and boss what I wanted to get out of this internship. If you're at an internship and don't have a goal, a great general one is to learn what you like. Insert tech term here, and that can be what you want to learn about this summer. The final mistake that I made at my very first internship was not making enough time for breaks. Now, if you're an intern, you're probably going to be an hourly worker, and what a lot of people think this means when they first start working is that they have to work those full 8 hours by being in your chair at your desk, staring at the screen. Now, this is not necessarily true. If you're trying to solve a problem and you're taking a walk thinking about that problem, that could also be counted as time working. So just because your eyes aren't literally glued to the camera doesn't mean you're not working. I spent way too much energy trying to track the exact minutes that I was working instead of actually just allowing myself to get deep into the work. If you spend 50% of your energy timekeeping instead of spending that energy actually coding or producing, you're going to have a much more stressful, much less fulfilling time at your internship. So make sure you don't make the same mistake that I did, even if you are an hourly timed worker. Now, that being said, talk to your boss or mentor about how to do this efficiently and effectively so that you're still following all the company rules. Thank you so much for watching, and if you found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like down below. It really helps out the channel. And if you've made any similar mistakes at your job, leave those down in the comments below so we can all learn from each other and do better next time. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much for watching.